The sight of his 12-year-old daughter Lily sitting alone on the school steps with tears streaming down her face was something that would haunt successful businessman Daniel Parker forever. But what he discovered that day about his daughter's secret struggle would lead to the most incredible transformation anyone had ever witnessed. What started as a father's heartbreak would become a movement that changed an entire community and proved that sometimes the greatest wealth comes not from what you earn but from what you give away. Daniel Parker had built his tech company from nothing into a $50 million empire. He owned 3 luxury cars, a mansion in the hills overlooking Seattle, and could afford anything money could buy. But as he sat in his Tesla outside Roosevelt Middle School watching his daughter cry, he realized that all his success meant nothing if his little girl was hurting. Lily had always been his pride and joy. She was smart, kind, and had her mother's gentle spirit. Since her mother Sarah had passed away from cancer 2 years earlier, Daniel had tried his best to be both parents to Lily. He made sure she had the finest clothes, attended the best private school, and never wanted for anything material. What he didn't realize was that his daughter was carrying a burden that no amount of money could fix. When Daniel approached Lily on those school steps, she quickly wiped her tears and tried to smile. She had learned not to burden her father with problems, knowing how hard he worked and how much stress he carried since losing her mother. But Daniel could see right through her brave facade. He gently asked what was wrong and Lily's composure finally crumbled. Through her tears, Lily explained that she had been using her lunch money to help her friend Jessica, whose family had been struggling since her father lost his job. Jessica had been coming to school without lunch for weeks, and Lily couldn't bear to see her friend hungry. But now other kids at school had started making fun of both of them. They called Jessica poor and said Lily was stupid for giving away her money. What broke Daniel's heart even more was learning that Lily had been going without lunch herself some days to make sure Jessica had enough to eat. His daughter, who had access to everything, was starving herself to help a friend in need. The other wealthy kids at her private school had begun excluding both girls from their social groups, leaving Lily feeling isolated and ashamed. Daniel felt a wave of emotions wash over him. He was proud of his daughter's compassionate heart but devastated that she had been suffering in silence. He was also angry at himself for being so focused on providing material things that he had missed the emotional struggles his daughter was facing. Most of all, he was determined to do something about it. That evening, Daniel had a long conversation with Lily about kindness, friendship, and what it truly means to help others. He told her how proud he was of her generosity but explained that she never had to face these challenges alone. Together, they came up with a plan that would help not just Jessica's family, but other families in their community who were struggling. Daniel started by discreetly helping Jessica's family. He learned that her father Mark had been laid off from his construction job and was struggling to find work while dealing with a back injury. Instead of just giving them money, Daniel offered Mark a position with his company's facilities management team, a job that would accommodate his physical limitations while providing steady income and health benefits. But Daniel's incredible response was just beginning. Inspired by his daughter's compassion, he decided to start a foundation called Lily's Lunch Fund. The foundation would provide free meals not just to kids who couldn't afford lunch, but to any child who wanted to ensure their classmates never went hungry. The program would operate without stigma or embarrassment, making it impossible to tell who was receiving help and who was giving it. Daniel worked with school administrators to implement the program across multiple schools in their district. Every child would have access to nutritious meals regardless of their family's financial situation. The program also included weekend food bags for families who needed extra support, ensuring that no child in their community would ever have to worry about their next meal. The response from the community was overwhelming. Other successful business owners stepped forward to contribute to the foundation. Parents volunteered their time to help with meal preparation and distribution. Teachers noticed that students were more focused in class and that the social divisions based on economic status began to disappear. Lily became the foundation's youngest board member and helped design programs that would address other needs she noticed among her classmates. They started a back-to-school supply program, a winter coat drive, and a tutoring initiative that paired students who excelled in certain subjects with those who needed extra help. What amazed Daniel most was watching his daughter blossom into a confident young leader. The tears of shame and helplessness he had seen on those school steps were replaced by the bright smile of a girl who knew she was making a difference. Lily no longer felt isolated or different because of her wealth. Instead, she learned to use her advantages as tools to help others. Jessica's transformation was equally remarkable. With her basic needs met and the stress of hunger removed, she began to excel academically. Her confidence grew as she realized that her worth wasn't determined by her family's financial situation. The friendship between Lily and Jessica deepened as they worked together on foundation projects, proving that true friendship transcends economic differences. The impact rippled throughout their community in ways Daniel never expected. Parents began teaching their children about empathy and social responsibility. Schools started implementing kindness curricula that emphasized compassion over competition. Local businesses began adopting similar programs to support struggling families in their area. Daniel discovered that his greatest business success paled in comparison to the satisfaction he felt from this work. He began restructuring his company to focus more on social responsibility, implementing living wage policies for all employees and partnering with other organizations to address community needs. 1 year after that tearful day on the school steps, Lily asked her father if they could host a celebration dinner for all the families who had been helped by their foundation. Daniel agreed, expecting a small gathering. Instead, over 300 people showed up to share their stories and express their gratitude. During the dinner, Jessica stood up to speak. She thanked Lily for her friendship and Daniel for his kindness, but she also shared something profound. She explained that the foundation had given her family something more valuable than food or financial assistance. It had given them hope and restored their faith that there were still good people in the world who cared about others. Mark, Jessica's father, had been promoted to supervisor at Daniel's company and was now helping to identify other families in need of support. He spoke about how the foundation had not only fed his family but had fed their souls by showing them that their community cared about their well-being. As Daniel listened to story after story of lives transformed, he realized that his daughter had taught him the most important lesson of his life. True wealth isn't measured by what you accumulate but by what you contribute. The tears he had seen in Lily's eyes that day weren't just tears of sadness but tears of compassion that had the power to change the world. The Lily's Lunch Fund continued to grow and expand to other cities across the country. Daniel began speaking at conferences and business forums about the importance of corporate social responsibility and community engagement. He encouraged other successful individuals to look beyond their own success and consider how they could use their resources to address the needs around them. Lily, now 13, had become a confident advocate for social justice and community service. She regularly spoke at schools and community events about the importance of standing up for others and using your advantages to help those who are less fortunate. Her message was simple but powerful: everyone has something to give, whether it's money, time, skills, or simply kindness. The foundation established scholarship programs for students like Jessica who showed academic promise but lacked financial resources. They created mentorship programs that connected successful adults with young people who needed guidance and support. Every initiative grew from Lily's original desire to make sure no child felt hungry or alone. Daniel often reflected on that day when he found his daughter crying on the school steps. He realized that moment had been a gift, a wake-up call that redirected his priorities and showed him what really mattered in life. Lily's tears had been the catalyst for discovering a purpose greater than profit and a legacy more meaningful than money. Today, the Lily's Lunch Fund operates in over 50 school districts across 12 states, serving more than 10,000 children daily. Daniel has redirected much of his business success toward philanthropic efforts, and his company has become a model for corporate social responsibility in the tech industry. The story of Daniel and Lily Parker reminds us that sometimes our children are our greatest teachers. It shows us that success without compassion is empty, and that the most incredible thing we can do with our advantages is to share them with others who need them most. Their journey proves that. One act of kindness can create ripples that extend far beyond what we can imagine. It demonstrates that when we respond to others' tears with action rather than indifference, we have the power to transform not just individual lives but entire communities. The next time you see someone in tears or struggling with challenges you could help address, remember Lily's compassion and Daniel's incredible response. Remember that you don't have to be a millionaire to make a difference. Sometimes the most powerful way to change the world is to start by caring about the person right in front of you. If this story inspired you to believe that kindness can change everything, please take a moment to like this video and share it with others who need to be reminded that compassion is contagious. Subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories to hear more amazing tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things for each other. Together, we can spread the message that every act of kindness matters and that we all have the power to be someone's answer to prayer.